If I knew how to hum Boys of Winter, this is how I would start the podcast right now, but I don't have it on my phone anymore. But, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Porch Asses. We're two brothers with four bad knees. I am Morgan.
I'm Jeremy.
Ladies and gentlemen, hockey season has arrived again. It's back. It's a little weird this season. I don't know why for me, but
I think because we're not used to the fans being there.
not used to the fans being back. Also, I think there's other sports in the city of Pittsburgh that are taking my attention right now.
Oh, you mean that wonderful football team that plays at Heinz Field that's not named the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Oh, I was talking about Pitt women's volleyball, but
Or that too. That works too.
Team. Yeah, as I am the sponsor of the libero position for the University of Pittsburgh volleyball team.
True.
Thank you very much. No, but today we're talking about Penguins hockey. It's back. No Malkin to start the season. He's not going to be back till about New Year's. Crosby should be back this week after off-season wrist surgery from too much masturbating. He's back. The team is actually scoring goals without their two biggest superstars, which is surprising the hell out of me.
Don't worry, I got a hot take about that.
I have a hot take because he's on my fantasy team. I want to talk about him first. The NHL's current leading scorer, Duncan Heinen.
Heinen, ho.
Yes, I posted a gif of the guy with the case of Heineken. I didn't see it coming.
I didn't either.
I actually think he should stay on that first line when Crosby comes back.
Oh, hell yeah.
It should be Gensel, Crosby, Heineken.
Ooh.
Or Heinen. I keep saying Heineken, but you know where I'm going with that.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
The goaltending has been surprisingly good.
Well, we know why that's the case.
The new goalie coach.
Yeah, that plus Tristan Jarry's pads.
Yeah, Tristan Jarry's pads are amazing this year. I think the changing goaltending coach is going to play a lot bigger. Of course, everybody has their doubts about the goaltending this season. I still think DeSmith played okay in that Florida game that they lost in overtime. There's a couple fluky goals that really weren't his fault, like when he had like an orgy around him.
Yeah, that's a lot of his. That was a lot of his issue that night in Florida. That was just weird.
There were some fluky goals in that game, but the Pens are 2-0-1 start the season. 7 points, top of the Metro through 3 games, which you really can't count because, of course, they're 3 games in. There's teams that have only played 1 game so far.
Yeah.
There's a lot to be decide with this team in the next couple weeks. Once Crosby's back, where do you go with the lineup? Who's getting scratched? Sam Lafferty should not see the ice again ever in a Penguin jersey.
Up until last night, I totally forgot he was still on the team.
Surprisingly, the person who surprised me so far, I say surprisingly twice, was Dan Boyle. He didn't play great in that Tampa game, but the Florida game, and especially last night versus the Blackhawks, as of this recording, he actually played a very good game for not playing in the NHL last season. Obviously, no team signed him due to the pandemic, and
we were all kind of shocked by that signing. Like, we're gonna really sign Brian Boyle? Like, really?
Yeah.
And then he comes out and he, like you said, he played okay, but last night I felt like he played. It was a step in the right direction.
If you look at fancy stats, he definitely took a step in the right direction last night. I think you got to put him against the veteran NHL lines instead of these young. You know what I mean? These young third, fourth lines you're going to see. I think you got to put him up against veterans. He's better against veterans. Mm-hmm. And the stats of that showed that last night. Mike Sullivan, now the winningest coach all time in Penguin history.
Which blows my mind. Because you look at it. Look at the coaches that have won Stanley Cups. Scotty Bowman, Eddie Johnston.
Who should be fired in Chicago.
Well, yeah. No shit. But like the coaches that have won Stanley Cups for this team, and how many Hall of Fame coaches we have had in the time, Mike Sullivan is the winningest? Like, that's just odd to look at.
Let's see. He's entering his seventh season as the Penguins coach. That's actually not surprising, considering with 2 Stanley Cup runs, back-to-back years in there, a couple deep other playoff runs, a couple early playoff. Also, I think you're playing in one of the hardest divisions in hockey, especially with teams like the Islanders every year, the Capitals every year, rivalry with the Flyers, everything. You're winningest coach and one of the most famous franchises in all of sports, actually.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty impressive to say. I think this year was a make or break for Sully.
Yeah.
I think the hot seat after the playoff exit last year versus the Islanders, the hot seat was very, very warm. They can continue what they've done through 3 games so far. I'll be very happy with this team.
Oh, I am. I'm like you and I have talked before. Like we were not too happy. Like we were like not optimistic.
You miss Crosby for the first week of the season. You're like, okay, he's going to come back, but you miss probably one of the best players of all time. Of course, the whole controversy of him not being 100 best players of all time. It's Evgeny Malkin. You know what I mean? You miss him for the first 4 months of the season.
Yeah,
that's big.
That is big.
Yes, he's fallen off a little bit in the past 2 years, but he's still Gino.
Exactly.
He's still Gino. He's always going to be Gino.
It's the presence on the ice that makes the difference.
Exactly.
And what you were going back to what you said before about Gino and Sid not being there, and then them coming back, like, and that happened. I don't know if it was last year or the year before or whatever, but once they came back from injury, it's like the team fell apart. It's like the other guys was like, oh, Sid and Gino's here. We don't got to do much.
Which they're going to have to do again this year, which scares the hell out of me.
Yeah, like I want them to keep this going, but just add Sid and Gino to the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
But where do you put, like, where do these guys
Sid
go?
goes in. Obviously, you're going to move. It's going to be obviously against Crosby on the first line. Who that wing is, I think it should be Duncan Heinen. That's just me, the way he's been playing the first 3 games.
Yeah.
It should be that. I think Lafferty should come out. You mean, shout out to Hollidaysburg, but fuck, he's so bad.
He is not, yeah.
He's not good.
And that's the best thing that comes out of Hollidaysburg.
The funny thing is during the Tampa game, I was laughing my ass off because Duncan Heinen scored the first goal of the season. You're like, who the hell is Duncan Heinen? Okay. Who scored the first goal for the Penguins last year?
Wasn't it Sam Lafferty?
No, it was Mark Janikowski.
Oh, that's right, in Philly.
Look how that happened.
Oh,
look how that all worked out.
Boy.
Good season, and then you shit the bed versus the Islanders in the playoffs. Thank you, Tristan Jarry.
Yeah.
But it all goes back to, can this team gel when the superstars come back, that they find a lineup that's going to win on a constant basis? Of course, you're going to have the big stars. You're going to have Crosby. You're going to have Malkin. You're going to have the Tang. The goaltending, does it stand up? I think the goaltending from now until they get eliminated in the playoffs or win the Stanley Cup, I think the goaltending is going to be the number 1 issue for this team.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
What Tristan Jarry do you get? Like, he was dog shit out of the gate last year.
Yeah, he was.
But then turned it around at the end of the season and then shit the bed again.
Yeah.
So far this season, he's, I think, 3rd or 4th against goals against.
Yeah, somewhere in that region.
In the league through 3 games, which is very impressive, which I had not expected. I also think what they did in the offseason, I was very mad that they didn't do anything huge with the goaltending situation. I know people claimed they wanted to trade Maff for Maff, but look how that's working out in Chicago so far.
Yeah.
And I don't want to put that all on Marc-Andre Fleury.
Oh, God, no.
But the first 2 last night were all on him, and then the other 2 were on his defense, and then they pulled him.
Yeah. I kind of felt bad after the first one. I'm like,
I don't feel bad for anything Marc-Andre Fleury when bad happens to him on the ice. He's a great human being off the ice, but there's 3 numbers that stick in my head.
The 982 save percentage?
Not 982.
Oh,
834. 2012 Philadelphia Flyers. That was the best team. If they had mediocre goaltending, they would have won the cup that year.
I honestly want you to get that number tattooed on you if he wins.
That's my Penn State 409 numbers, 834. That was Marc-Andre Fleury's save percentage in the 2012 playoffs. That they should have won the cup. You know what I mean? They goddamn traded for Jerome McGinley, and then let's see, it's 2021. 9 years later, I'm still pissed. And it will not leave my body. My last dying breath will be 834, and then I croak over and die.
Yeah.
But again, we go back to the Penguins this year. It's going to be very, very questionable on how this team does. They are in a very good division, obviously with the Capitals and the Islanders. The Devils, I think, are going to be scary good this year.
Yeah, they're going to be sneaky.
They're not going to be sneaky. I think they win that division.
The Devils?
The Devils, yes.
Okay, you heard it here first, people. He's picking the Devils to win that division.
I'm picking the Devils to win the Metro Division. My favorite player in the NHL to say his name, because I say it in a French accent, but it's not really a French accent, is Jacques Hughes.
What he did against Chicago the other night in overtime was just ridiculous. Come on.
But what's one thing... Actually, no, I want to go back to the goaltending real quick. I was talking about they didn't do anything in the offseason. Actually, I think they did something very good. He's going to be in Wilkes-Barre for the majority of the year, but I think they have a third goaltender in Louis Domingo.
Yeah.
I think he's a good veteran that if the Smith shits the bed, they can call him up. I think he's going to be a solid backup. They signed him from Calgary on a 1-year deal, 2-way. And it's very interesting to see if the Smith or Jarry shit the bed on what they do with the goaltending. Do they make a move at the deadline? I don't know. That's remain to be seen. Do you improve the decor a little bit? I believe Pierre-Olivier Joseph fell off the map from the beginning of last year.
Yeah, he had that one or two game stretch where he was like on fire and then turned the dog.
Of course, he's a young kid. Yeah, I mean he's got some training to do in Wilkes-Barre.
But still, Jesus.
What do you see happening with Penguins this year?
They got to stay. If they can stay, this is going to sound really cliche, but if they can stay consistent the way they are, getting back Crosby, getting back Malkin, and keep using the old Spaceballs line, keep firing assholes. They put a lot of shots on net last night against Chicago. What was it, 17 in the first period or something like that? I have no
idea.
It was a ridiculous amount.
I was enjoying my Permanis too much. I'm sorry. Actually, okay. Last night we're sitting in Permanis.
That is the most Yinzer thing to do, is like go to Permanis and watch a Penguin game.
So, of course, it's Saturday. There's a lot of college football. But you're in a Pittsburgh market themed restaurant 2 hours away from Pittsburgh. You know they had one television Penguin game on, and that's it.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And of course, it was the one right in front of me, which I didn't mind.
And I don't know. Like, the signing of Louis makes sense. It's a veteran, quote unquote, but it's not a veteran to be the backup. Like, he is a veteran in case of
that backup
said shitting the bed. So I think that was making sense, and bringing in a new goaltending coach was probably one of my favorite things they did all year. How do you improve the decor, though? If you're going to say improve the decor, how do you do it?
You can't have... Actually, surprisingly, who I think should play more is Mark Friedman.
Yeah.
Letang's going to be Letang. He doesn't get the respect that he deserves in NHL defenseman.
No, he doesn't.
He should have won the Norris at least 3 times in his career. It hasn't. I think there's some young guys in Wilkes-Barre that could show. One of the alternate captains who I really like in Wilkes-Barre is they sent him on a 2-way contract with Matt Barkowski, who I think if they need a defenseman they can call up, I think he's going to be good.
Now, where do you see John Marino? Because I like him. I think he's a solid player.
I like him. I don't think he deserved what he got from Jim Rutherford before they cut Jim Rutherford.
What do you mean?
Contract status.
Oh, okay.
The money they gave him.
Yeah, okay.
I think he's a solid second pairing, third pairing defenseman. He's still young, of course, but I think there's a lot of questions on his play.
My least favorite defenseman, though, I have to say, and I liked him when they brought him in, was what the hell happened to Marcus Pettersson? Like, what the hell?
Dude, Marcus Pettersson's probably the second best defenseman they have on that team, other than Chris Letang. Dude, he's so good if you look at analytics. And I'm a big analytics guy.
You are a big analytics guy.
And I thank Jesse Marshall for introducing me to it and teaching me it. But
yeah, he might have to teach me that too, because
he's very, 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 very solid, and people don't like him because he doesn't do flashy.
It's not the highlight shit that everybody wants.
He's probably the second best defenseman on the team, in my opinion.
And Chris Letang is the second best. No, probably one of the top 3 defensemen in this league.
I would say 5 years ago, yes. I think he's top 10 now. But of course, age does that to you.
Yeah.
Death comes for us all.
Mm-hmm.
What a way to look at it. But there's a lot of questions going into the Penguins, continuous of the Penguins season. Can they keep this up when they play the divisional games? Can they keep up with the physicality of the Islanders? Can they keep up with the speed and shooting and of the Capitals? Can they keep up with the youth of the Devils? What can they do? All you do is finish top 4.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they're in that right now.
I think they could.
I think they're obviously, there's what? The 2 New York teams, New Jersey, Washington, Pittsburgh, Columbus, Carolina?
Yeah.
That's
Philly.
and Philly. That's the Metro. I think they're better than Columbus. I think they're way better than Philly, and I think they're better than the Rangers and Carolina. Carolina's fallen off the map a big time for me.
I watched them a little bit play Nashville last night.
But I think they finished in that top 4 division. All you gotta do is finish top 4, you're in playoffs.
Yeah.
That's easy enough. You want to talk about a little bit other than... Can I talk about a few former Penguins, actually?
Yeah, let's dive deep into the NHL. Why not?
Shout out to Jared McCann and Brandon Tanev, who started the season off great in Seattle. I don't think that Seattle team's going to be great.
They're not Vegas.
They're not going to be Vegas. No. And that's what people were trying to think is going to happen. They're not going to be Vegas. But Jared McCann, who I think will be the missing piece for the Penguins this year because he was great on the power play last year.
Yeah.
And what do me and the Pittsburgh Penguins have in common? I said this on Twitter a couple nights ago. We both have a very questionable PP.
You and Usher.
Oh God. But I think the power play is going to be very interesting this year. Somehow they finished 4th in the NHL in power play last year, and I don't know how they did it.
I don't know how they did that either.
I think Jared McCann is going to be a missing piece in that spot. I think Kasperi Kapanen is going to be very good on the power play this year. I think you got to shove Gino when he comes back. I think you have to split up the 2-headed monster on the power play.
I would.
I think you got to put Sid on power play 1, Gino on power play 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think it works better that way because you have a weapon on both.
Yeah.
I think as soon as the Penguins put out the second power play, it falls face first into the ice. It's like if Danny Heatley was driving a power play.
Oh, God.
You put the power play in and he crashed into a wall.
Right into a wall.
Yeah, it's bad. Do I get points for Danny Heatley car crash reference this morning? But Tanev, I think... People hated that contract when Jim Rutherford signed it, and he showed that he's that grit, get down dirty, and I hate using grit in hockey because it's my least favorite word to explain a guy.
Yeah,
like he's got to have that grit. He's got to have he was that. Pens are down. He's still fucking flying around the ice hitting guys.
Yeah,
trying to create offense, which the Penguins I think are going to miss that this year.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be the question who's going to fill that spot with Brandon Tanev. And I'm not talking filling the spot of team photo because we already have that for Kasperi Kapanen.
Yeah, that's taken.
And his glorious, glorious mustache. But the Penguins have a lot of questions. Can they keep up what they've done so far? What happens when Sid comes back? They don't play till Tuesday. It's Sunday now. I think they activate Sid Monday. I think he practices with the team. I think he's going to come and be first line center. But I said this with Tang and I say it with Crosby now. Death comes for us all. Can Sid continue to be that guy? Obviously, Sidney Crosby. I have no question about it.
Yeah.
But he's also in his 30s now. Mid-30s, I should say, now. There's obviously younger players that are better than him now. McDavid. I think in that division, I think Jack Hughes is there.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're going to still have the comparisons between Ovi and Sid. I think that's a conversation for itself on another day.
That's just all by itself, yeah.
But can Sidney Crosby continue to be Sidney Crosby? Especially on I think this might be not the worst team that he's been on because he was on some of those early mid-2000 teams.
Whoa!
That, were really, really bad with Rico Fata and all that.
Eric Christensen.
Yeah. I mean, he skated on a line with Eric Tangradi.
Jesus God.
Don't let the big dog eat. I think this might be the one of. I don't want to say bad. They're not a bad hockey team.
You can't even call them young either, because they're not. They are, but they aren't.
Yeah, there's some young guys like Drew O'Connor and I still think Kapanen's young. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I think anybody under the age of 30 now is young. Fuck.
Can we talk about Brock McGinn? Like how
I like that sign. See, Brock McGinn, I think is that he's not as good as Tanev, but I think he's going to be that.
That might be the Tanev. Yeah.
Yep.
I agree.
I should have brought that up. I think he's that Tanev guy.
Because he scored last night against Chicago, so I was like, oh, yeah.
He's going to be that probably 15, 20 goal scorer, I think.
Yeah.
He's going to get those 30 goals in front of the net. I think he's that grit guy that they needed.
He's the Tanev, Hornquist, smash them together, wipe away the blood kind of thing.
No, he does have the net front presence of a Hornquist. But, you know, if there is a veteran that the Penguins are looking to trade for, if they need some offense, there's a wonderful guy out in Arizona that there's a fire sale currently going on.
Oh, yeah. What is... Oh, my God.
He's a 2-time Stanley Cup champion.
Yeah, I know.
He met President Barack. He knows Barack. Bring out that vine. Barack. He knows Barack.
We are talking about the god of hockey.
I love this man more than I love any Penguin ever. And I've loved a lot of Pittsburgh Penguins in my lifetime, but I always adore, and he deserves so much more from the fan base and the media in this town, and that is Phil Kessel. For God's sakes, please get him out of Arizona.
Okay. I'm Arizona right now.
Yeah.
I'm offering you Phil Kessel. What are you giving me in return?
Draft picks, and they'll take him in a heartbeat.
You wouldn't give me a really low player for...
Oh no, they're trying to build. They're gonna be the Oklahoma Thunder. They're gonna try to build through the draft.
Oh, okay.
The Coyotes can be very bad for a very long time. Even if they do stay in Phoenix.
They ain't staying in
or
Phoenix.
Arizona. Sorry.
They ain't gonna stay in that damn state.
But I think if they need to go get a veteran and they need some goal scorer, go get Phil.
Rutherford's not here anymore.
Yeah, he's not going to run around town because these stupid fucking ass media people like Pony and Madden hated him.
Rob Rossi,
go get some fucking ice creamy jackass.
Giant piece of shit.
I don't want to look forward to what the Penguins should be doing. It's what they have now. I think if they can keep it up, get the superstars back, they can make a run.
Oh yeah.
Are they a Stanley Cup winning team right now? No.
Are they a playoff contender?
100%.
Yes.
Yeah. Do I think they can make a run? Yes.
But there is some serious competition.
There's some big questions.
There's some serious competition in the Eastern Conference too.
Yeah. And that's just not the Metro. You look at that, Boston. I think that Florida team is going to be good.
What, the 8 people that watched the game the other night?
Give them credit. There was 36 fans.
Okay. 35 of them, have season tickets.
Yeah. But I think a lot of our Penguins questions will be answered. Of course, we're only 3 games in. It's a long season. You have the Olympics this year, which is going to extend the season a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Sid's going to go. Of course, I don't know if Gino is going to be healthy enough by then. I doubt it. You're not going to have a Chris Kunitz on the Olympic team this year. Gold medal winning Chris Kunitz. Thank you very much.
Oh, my God.
But a lot of our questions will be answered. Anything more, Jeremy?
Just like you said, short sample size. We got to see how the season goes, but we'll probably touch back in on this later.
Oh, we're gonna have a lot of Penguin shows this season.
We probably will have like an Olympic break show, a All-Star show.
Is there an All-Star game this year because of the Olympics?
I don't think there is.
No, there is. I think there is Vegas.
Is it? I thought it was Carolina.
Maybe that. I don't know if there's an Olympic All-Star game because of the Olympics.
God, who knows?
But anywho, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's it for today.
Yeah.
I am Morgan.
I'm Jeremy.
I almost said my name is Jeremy. We are Porch Ashes. Have a great day, guys.
We miss you, Phil. Love you.